I'm Lee Irwin from the ClarksvilleNow.com newsroom, and I'm here with Clarksville Mayor Johnny Piper. And Mayor Piper, I want to thank you for coming in. And now, for the record, we do want to be sure to let everyone know that ClarksvilleNow.com offered Director of Clarksville Montgomery County Schools, Mr. Mike Harris, the same opportunity to come in and be interviewed and discuss the situation. Now, he at this point has declined to do so. So now, Mayor Piper, you and Mr. Harris are basically at odds over a conversation you and he had regarding your wife's position in the Clarksville Montgomery County school system. Now, your wife has been in the school system for years and has been moved multiple times, from what we understand. Now, why was this move going to be a problem in the first place?
Okay, actually, this particular tip is not necessarily about my wife. This particular tip was from us. From me, from the city, was the concern of taxes going up, and that was my focus. Coincidentally, my wife was transferred last week, which is something that's due on a regular basis. I say regular; it's been several years since they have, but so when they did that, she called me and made me aware of it and some details about it that's not public, and so. That I called Mike Harris, and when I called Mike, we have relationships that he has called in the past on things that he's needed. For example, sewer out to a school about 15 miles out that is about in opposite to the city of Clarksville's commitment, and I overruled the rules to be able to get that done. The 100% graduation rate, I overruled the rules to be able to put signs up, and several other things. And I don't ask many things. One thing that I did ask, the only other thing that I know that I asked outside of this was that anybody who's the mayor, whether it be city or county, that the school system consider allowing their spouses to attend certain events for them. Sometimes they're out of town, sometimes wherever, to allow them to attend so that you're putting on a good professional front. And he denied that request. And I thought that was appropriate to ask. The only other time that I know that I asked for consideration was this time. And the consideration that I asked for was for him to look at it and evaluate it and see if he thought it was done right. I never have questioned his authority or his ability to do it. And so that's never been a question of mine. It is my wife that had 18 years of experience, does not have the first blemish on her record, for her to be called in and said they're going to take her to West Creek Elementary, middle school and high school, and transfer that person out. And that her comment was she's close to retirement. She would appreciate not making this change right now. It's a significant change for our psychologist. And that she would have to consider resigning. And they just totally discarded her 18 years and said, if you have to resign, you have to resign. The lack of loyalty and respect for that department, for someone that does not have the first blemish, to just totally discard them, was just astounding to me. And I asked Mike to check into it. He did, and he said he thought it was the right decision.
Now, we're going to talk about the tax issue in a few moments, but now, according to the statement released by the Chief Communications Officer, Lee Shelton, with the school system, it says that Mr. Harris sensed anger in your voice when he said he would be happy to discuss the move with your wife. And were you at any time angry with his response?
Well, I talked with Mike, and I'd asked him to respond, to check into it. He got back with me, and I asked him, I said, so you're telling me that you're going to uphold the decision? He said, yes, I am. And I said, it'll be between you and Donita as to whether or not she wants to come in. And then we got in discussion about taxes, that I'd been doing some studies on behalf of the city, started last July or August, not new, not last week or two, started last July or August, have done a 92-page study as to revenues from the city and where they're going, and I have a report on my desk dated December the 9th, 2009, about the school system and the funding that the city gives the school system, and I made him aware of it, that we've been looking at that for a long time, and that I'm looking for different ways to fund employees' pay raises, and that was one of those ways that I was looking. He took it as a threat, and he asked me, am I threatening him? Well, he probably doesn't know me, because I don't do threats. I'm factual. I'm as open as you get. I'm as transparent as you get on anything that I do. And I said, no, sir, that's not a threat. And he said, well, I think that he's somewhere today has made the statement that he has stated that I would say I'd go to the news media. I have never once called a news media in this situation. I am out trying to recover from a flood. I'm trying to bring additional industry in that hopefully is going to be announced in the next 7 to 10 days from the city level. We're trying to help convergers relocate to another location. This diversion that is presented by Mike and Elise Shelton has just been ridiculous on its face to this community. These types of things should not be public. Now, I suspicion that there's a reason for this, and that reason is because I brought up the tax issue and the wild spending that they do. By their own admission, they have 87% of their funding goes to personnel. And by their own admission, the average throughout other administrations and other school systems is 80%. So we are 7% higher than other school systems, which tells me our cost is out of control. And those are the funding mechanism and the wild spending and the increased salaries that they're paying that has me greatly concerned from a citizen and as a mayor.
Well, now let's talk more about that for a moment. Now, in the same statement from Mr. Harris, it stated that you as mayor have never had any interest in the school system budget or operations before. But on Monday morning, you proceeded to request the following information on the school system. That information was a list of all employees in the central office and their pay for the past 5 years, including their percent of increase, how many central office staff you had transferred out to schools in the past 5 years, have hired new staff with stimulus money, and if so, which positions have you hired? And finally, did you receive any additional stimulus money other than Title I and special education? Now, what about that?
Well, absolutely. Yeah, and I've sent another one today. And I'm going to continue to send them from a personal level and from the mayor's level. When you have wild spending, the way you find out about that wild spending is to get the facts. Their statements have been that they have downsized the central office staff, that it's as less as ever been. So, in my request and in my research, I'm finding that really is true. But what I'm finding is, it's not from cutting of personnel. They are taking and farming out departments outside the schools, putting them in the school's budget and reducing their own budget so it appears their budget is lessened. In reality, your and my taxes have not gone down from decreasing the staff. They're just shifting it out so that they would be able to say central staff is less. That is not transparency.
Okay, now about that study, now is there a way that ClarksvilleNow.com could obtain it to show the community?
Yes, sir. You're welcome. You're welcome to get it. It's the public study. I released it. Honestly, the reason that I have not released it yet, I haven't gone through it. It's 92 pages long, and I'm winding through. I've also turned it over to an attorney for him to look at to make sure that everything was legally correct that the study showed. But it is now public, and you're welcome to get it. Up until this time, it was on my desk, and I've been going through it since December.
All right, now.
And you're welcome to put it online.